Hello YouTube, it is I, Red Takes, and here we are again with another NFL divisional preview. Second to last one. Go with the AFC East this time. Last but not least, we're working on my NFC North preview for, next couple of days or so, maybe next week at the latest, I think. But I guess, as always, if you're just stepping on through this video, thank you. Like, share, subscribe, share it around with your friends. Need all the help I can get. Let's get to it. Now, I guess, as always, start out with the team I think will finish first place, the Buffalo Bills, of course, who had a really interesting offseason. Lost some players that may or may not bite them down the line, and they added some key pieces too. I remember watching their game last year against the Tennessee Titans and them just getting mauled by Derrick Henry. I think they may have shortened those weaknesses up a little bit, and they added two of their key pieces from that same offensive line for the Tennessee Titans. Added David Questenberry and Roger Saffold. Should be good pieces on that offensive line, shoring up some of their weaknesses and also providing really good pass blocking, which they need to keep Josh Allen upright. Bring in O.J. Howard on a 1-year deal. Maybe this is finally the place where he can finally show that he still has something left after all those knee injuries. And he can be provide some depth behind Dawson Knox. Bring in back Isaiah Mckenzie, who earned, I think, some more targets this year. Had a really interesting season last year. Showed he can be a good slot wide receiver, which is what they always need more of. Shaq Lawson, who brought him over from the Jets. Maybe he can continue to grow on this defense. It's just a lot of good defensive pieces. Bring in Tim Settle and, of course, Von Miller, who should be a monster there. I like to see Shaq Lawson really feed off of Von Miller, taking all the coverage and hopefully being able to get back to the quarterback more. Bringing in Mitch Morse, center. And then drafting Kaiir Elam, who I really like. I think he may need a little bit of seasoning going forward, but I think he's a really good piece. All the Bills can really hope for is that Tre'Davious White comes back healthy, because he's such a stalwart on the defense. I think he's clearly their best defensive player. He's just one of the best shutdown corners in the league when he's healthy, and you could really tell throughout the end of the year, especially in that playoff game, that losing or not having Tre'Davious White really hurt them. Having Tre'Davious White in that last 13 seconds of the game probably would have avoided a playoff loss. So, yeah, I think they made some good additions this year and should really help them throughout the year. And then they lost Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, it sucks that Cole Beasley's gone, but Emmanuel Sanders, I don't know. I don't know how much of a loss that is. Losing long-time defensive stalwart Jerry Hughes, who was their lead sack artist last year, may or may not hurt them. Von Miller probably fills in with the sack numbers, but he's a long-time player in that defense. Levi Wallace, who probably hurt them a little bit, losing him at corner. Harrison Phillips on the defensive line, so that sucks. Stargo Tulele, who, when he was healthy, was pretty good. It's a pretty good immovable object. And then Trubisky, who knows? Maybe he'll finally get his spot in Pittsburgh. And then losing Darrell Williams. I think overall the Bills are my favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. I am a Packer fan. I have been following the Bills for the last couple of years now. So Bills Mafia, I hope I give a good view of what your team will be like this year. I really like them to finally win the Super Bowl this year, especially if Josh Allen can keep getting better. He already is an MVP candidate. Maybe he'll actually win it this year. But the additions on the offensive line and some additions in the defense should help them go a long way this year. And honestly, I don't think the division it'll be interesting, but I don't think they'll have too many issues to deal with when it comes to winning the division, honestly. Like, as we'll go into next, I think the Patriots may have a down year this year, so well, I suppose I'll put them later on. But I really like the Bills this year. They're just a really fun team to watch. I really hope you guys can finally win the Super Bowl. I guess unless the Packers do, then sorry, Bills fans, I'll root for the Packers. But if the Packers don't win, I'll definitely be rooting for the Bills to win it all, just because they're such a fun team to watch. Really exciting offense, and they just had the worst luck in the playoffs, going up against the Chiefs, who have a giant horseshoe up their ass all the time. And you could really tell by last year that win was fluky. In the end, that it was the worst thing that could have happened, and the Bills were unable to pull it through. So next we'll go to the Miami Dolphins, who I think will finish in second because of a lot of their additions this year. Bring in Teddy Bridgewater, who should provide some good backup depth. Sony Michel, Chase Edmonds, who I really like this year. I think, especially for fantasy owners, Edmonds looks like to be a great addition if you can get him in the mid rounds. I think he'll end up being the main running back in that offense. Even though it may be kind of a committee approach, I think he'll be the best one. And then Raheem Mostert, who also I like. I've always thought he was a good player. It just remains to be seen how good he will be coming off that knee injury last year. And then, of course, bring in Tyreek Hill, who I've heard it's just been great so far in camp, really giving Tua that weapon that he hasn't had. Well, I suppose he had weapons last year with Jalen Waddle, but Jalen Waddle on one side and then Tyreek Hill on the other should be a huge addition for them. It will be up to Tua to finally make the step forward, since really has no excuse now. Bring in Cedric Wilson again, providing more depth in that wide receiver room. Bring in Mckenzie again. After he had a great season again, he's a great tight end, underrated tight end. Maybe Tua will be able to get the ball to him more this time. And then bring in Teron Armstead, who I loved in New Orleans for the longest time, but he just couldn't stay healthy. It'll be imperative that he stays healthy for this team to succeed and possibly make the playoffs. If he goes down again, could be tough sledding at times, just because I don't know what they have behind him. Then bringing Connor Williams and Emmanuel Ogbah, which is a great addition. He had a great year last year, hopefully providing some more oomph on that defensive line. And from what I could tell, Will Fuller was the only notable name that I could tell that they lost, even though he didn't play much last year. I think the Dolphins can be a really good team this year. If Tua takes the next step, it's imperative that he makes that next step, just because, I mean, we've been waiting for the last couple of years for him to show that what he can do with mixed results, but now with two definitely good wide receivers on the outside, and then Cedric Wilson in the slot, and of course Mike Gesicki at tight end, will be imperative that he is able to make the adjustments and step forward. Otherwise, this could be maybe not as last year in Miami, but it'll go a long way to making those at the top think he's not the right answer. And it would be a shame, just because he had such a great college career. But yeah, again, I think Tua needs to take that next step. for them to be really good. And I do think they can be really good because their defense looks good. Of course, with Xavier Howard there and everybody else. But, I mean, it'll be a tough division, of course, with Buffalo, but there should be some good battles between Miami and Buffalo this year. Now let's go to the New England Patriots. Again, the most hated team in the NFL for me and a lot of other fans, just because I don't want to go into it here, but honestly, I think a lot of the hype around the Patriots being the best team ever, I think at least 3 of their Super Bowls. Yeah, I mean, even though Spygate was, may or may not have been the biggest thing in the world, but I think it is. I think you can at the very least or put an asterisk on 3 Super Bowls. I'm not going to put an asterisk on all of them, even though I think Tom Brady is just the luckiest SOB in the league. And conspiracy, he's sold a soul, because honestly, is he ever going to go away? But to the Patriots, bringing in Devontae Parker should be a good addition at wide receiver. He never really got what he deserved in Miami, especially once they brought in Waddle, and then he started having injury concerns, so he is an injury risk for sure. So we'll have to monitor that throughout the season if he's able to stay on, but he should be a good addition for Mac Jones. And then bringing back Malcolm Butler. I don't know how good he will be, but he's coming back on a 2-year deal, so maybe he has something left. Jabril Peppers, and then Cole Strange as their draft pick, who, again, not to hit the pun here, but it was a strange pick. Just it's one of those picks that Bill Belichick has all the time, where he finds somebody from some no-name college and makes him a first-round pick. Maybe he's good, maybe he's not. I think he'll probably need some seasoning a little, but he could be good. I don't know. And then they lost Ted Karras, of course, to Cincinnati, who I think is a serviceable center. Losing long-time stalwarts Dante Hightower and Jamie Collins probably hurt them in the middle. And then losing J.C. Jackson to that big deal to the LA Chargers, he should be good with the Chargers, but they may have overpaid for him, but we'll see. It's just obvious the Patriots didn't want to pay him, even though they really need him in that defense. And then losing Kyle Van Noy, Chase Winovich, and then longtime Super Bowl or playoff hero James White, who retired recently. So the Patriots this year, I think it's going to be rough for them, honestly. I don't think they're going to finish in last or anything, because even though the Jets made some good picks, I think they'll still need some seasoning. And they'll need another really good draft next year to really be considered a long-time threat to this division. But the Patriots are just, I don't know. They lost so much on defense, so many long-time guys. I just don't know how it's going to work for them. I mean, Jacoby Myers is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league, so he should be really good again. Maybe he'll be able to get more touchdowns this year, just because he just catches at everything that comes his way. So, and then along with Devontae Parker, should be good for them. I think the Patriots. Well, we'll go into my in my final records when I get through all the teams, but I think the Patriots could be in the playoff hunt. I don't know. I think it really depends on if Devontae Parker is able to stay healthy. And it's going to be a tough division for them to win, honestly. I don't think they beat the Bills twice, maybe not even once. But it'll be interesting to see how this division shapes up. And last but not least, I guess, since the Jets had a good draft, we go to the New York Jets, who had a good offseason, especially when it comes to the draft. They added CJ Uzomah, and then they gave Braxton Berrios a good deal, so it'll be incumbent on him to keep it in getting better. Bringing in Laken Tomlinson on the defensive line should be a good add for them. And then they brought in Jordan Whitehead, Dan Feeney, and then their draft picks, they got Sauce Gardner, who has one of the best names in the draft this year. Although was a really great corner at Cincinnati, should be great addition for them. I hope to God he doesn't end up the next Steve Milner, please. That guy was a total train wreck and just one of the worst draft picks in the last 20 years or so. And then they brought in Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from Ohio State. Should be great for them. And then they brought in Jermaine Johnson, again, late in the draft, who is raw, but his physicality and athleticism are just great. He should be a great addition. He may need some seasoning too, but all the tools are there to make him a great edge rusher in the future. Garrett Wilson is going to be a great wide receiver. Honestly, he started the run in the draft on wide receivers, so well, I guess he didn't. There's Drake London came before him, but Garrett Wilson should be great addition for them. And then, of course, they lost Marcus May to the Saints, so that'll probably be a loss in the defensive back end. Shaq Lawson, Foye Fotakasi to that big deal to Jacksonville, so apparently he's really good. I don't know. Losing Jared Davis and Morgan Moses. The Jets had a great offseason, I think, and they should be good going forward. But I think there'll be some growing pains again this year, especially now that Zach Wilson had that injury in the preseason game this weekend. Luckily for him, it's not a season ender, but he will be out for the rest of the preseason and probably the first couple weeks of the regular season, so who knows how that's going to turn out. I don't know who their backup is, so I don't know what's going to happen with their team going forward. Oh, I think they brought back Mike White, so Mike White might be their quarterback. I don't know. Jets fans, don't kill me. I don't know who your quarterback is, but the Jets had a great offseason, especially in the draft. Finally making some great selections that you really can't thumb your nose at, so I guess we'll see how they turn out. They're probably still going to be near the bottom of the league, but they have made a step forward, I think. I guess it'll still come down to the season and how it all turns out, but Robert Saleh is a great coach. It's good that they finally have a good coach in there that actually knows what he's doing and not a total clown like so many other coaches in the past. So I guess let's get to their final season rankings for them, or record-wise. Bills probably end up 12-5 is probably good, maybe even 13-4. But yeah, they're going to be at the top of the division again. And then the Dolphins, 11-7, or 11-6 might be a good one for them. Actually, probably less than that. 10-7 for them, I think. But 11-6 is possible if, like I said before, Tua takes the next step, because all the tools are there for him to take the next step into top 10 quarterback status, but remains to be seen. The Patriots, 9-8, maybe 10-7. I think they might be right on the outside looking in for a playoff spot, but they could very well be in it for a playoff spot. I don't think they win the division this year. I mean, it would really take some bad fortunate luck for the Bills. Like, they'd have to lose like Josh Allen or something to not win the division, honestly. I think it'll be a great division overall, but the Patriots, 10-7, I think, is good. Maybe more like a 9-8. And then we have the Jets, who, while they had a good offseason, I think they'll still have some growing pains. Maybe 5-12. Maybe 6-11 might be a good one. But yeah, 5-12, 6-11. I think they'll may be the lower end of the league, but they're not going to be at the bottom again. I don't think they're going to maybe be in that maybe fringe 20, maybe at best you're right outside the top 20, maybe in the middle of the top 20, but I don't think they're going to be at the bottom this year. I think they did enough in the offseason and they have enough good pieces going forward that they'll be able to improve. Now, again, so we have the Bills, 12-5, very reasonable. Dolphins, 11-7, 11-6. Patriots, 10-7 or 9-8, and then the Jets, 5-12 or maybe even 6-11. But yeah, it's going to be a good division overall. I think it's going to be more competitive than it has been for a long time. I think any team could probably beat any team just because of familiarity this year. I mean, the Jets could still get blown out by one of their divisional foes, but I don't think it'll be as bad as it has been in years past. They made some good additions. But that has been my take on the AFC East this year. As always, my links will be in the description to my socials for YouTube, my Twitch channel, where we're almost done with Red Dead Redemption 2. We'll be starting up Red Dead Redemption soon. And then Locals, which is again a free Facebook alternative. All you need to do is create a free account, and then you can talk to me and see exclusive videos. And then Twitter, of course. Find all my links in the description. Just remember to like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification twice to get all notifications for all my upcoming videos. And as always, have a great day and God bless.